Craig the Creek is a show about a boy named Craig and his two friends Kelsey and JP as we follow their adventures of exploring the nature of their nearby creek. After watching every single episode of the show, I have compiled a tier list for replacement for every episode. Welcome to Creek Dynamacy. So, before this video starts, I would really appreciate it if you guys like and subscribe. Check out my polls on Straw Poll, as well as checking out my DeviantArt and my Twitter. Links are in the description. I also want you to share this with your friends because of YouTube's new policy of not recommending small YouTubers' channels to other people who are just like browsing through their recommended page or whatever. So yeah, and by doing all these three things are helping me a lot to reach 1,000 subscribers. I will not stop until I get 1,000 subscribers. Doesn't mean I'll end at 2,000. I'll keep making videos. I'm just gonna say it's gonna be a big milestone to get there, and we eventually do it. It's gonna be really cool. Okay, so this month's Creek Dynamacy is gonna be pretty good because this month's Creek Dynamacy, yeah, just the same thing, is about the episode Brother Builder. This episode is pretty endearing to me because of how wonderfully it gives Craig a backstory. The summary for Brother Builder on Wikipedia reads, as Craig prepares a birthday gift for Jessica, he decides to tell Cannonball and Sparkle Cadet how he became such a good builder. In a flashback, Craig and Bernard are dropped off with their grandparents while their parents go away to have Jessica. Thinking he is neither the older brother nor the baby anymore, Craig helps his grandfather with a special project. Okay, so let's get the main address out of the way and talk about how brilliantly this episode tells Craig's backstory and history. Before this episode, we knew that Craig was pretty good at creating stuff. It's been shown in multiple episodes, such as like Deep Creek Salvage, The Features Cardboard, Fort Williams, Bug City, and Craig World. But we never knew how Craig was so good at building in the first place. Like what was his secret? What was like the kickoff that started the countdown or whatever? Well, this episode tells us all about that. So the flashback takes place back when Craig's mother was pregnant with Jessica and was about to give birth to who would later be Jessica pretty soon. So to make sure the kids don't accidentally freak out at the hospital, why did I write that? Craig's parents leave him and Bernard at their grandparents' house. Craig begins to worry that he won't be the little brother or the big brother anymore when Bernard tells him that he'll just be the middle child once Jessica's born, and that kind of shoots down his self-esteem. So Earl, Craig's grandfather, gets Craig on board to help him work on a little project he's been working on, an irrigation system to water all of his plants quickly that he calls Project Water Tower. Pretty good name, by the way. This was Craig's first ever creative project he worked on, especially at such a young I can't talk. Especially at such a young age. So naturally, he would be curious to see like how this kind of stuff works, how this amazing witchcraft can be replicated. But he would also be nervous to work in it, as he is scared of thinking that he's not good enough to do something like this as good as his grandfather can do it. Then Earl convinces him in the most endearing way possible, and Craig agrees to help his agrees to help his granddad. Can I just say that Earl is like one of my favorite characters? He's just so nice and endearing to everybody, and he's like sure, he's kind of like a boomer, but like I think that's kind of the point. Just like an old charming little fellow, you know, like he's also really old and like to tell stories, you know, like it's like what every cartoon grandfather needs to be like. Just like be like Earl, if you okay, yeah, like. He just, yeah, and he looks like he has so many new stories to tell. You know what, new episode idea. Hey, Craig creators, are you watching this? Write this down. What if there was an episode where Craig and friends are bored, like very, very bored? They're at Craig's house, they don't know what to do, they're bored as heck, and so Earl tells them all some stories from his childhood through flashbacks. That would be awesome, especially because we've only heard him tell some stories just through, like, his like voice, not through like his not through like a flashback or anything. So this could be like the chance where we would finally get one. We could finally get one. Okay, yeah, that will be an awesome episode, and I'd be pretty surprised if they actually did make that. Okay, where was it? Earl is definitely up there with like Omar and Cannonball for like one of my favorite characters. Maybe even above them both, but I don't know yet. I'll never tell. Anyway, Craig and Earl build the hose system thingy, but it goes horribly wrong. Craig then starts to worry if that failure was all because of him. This was his first time trying to build something, and while he only helped, he still felt like he was to blame for it. But then Earl proves once again why he's one of my favorite characters, and instead tells Craig that it's not his fault that the hose system worked, and blames himself for not considering the weight of the water pumping from the hose. Usually at those two kids, that's not their fault if something bad happens, because young children can get nervous really easily. But here, But here, Earl is showing Craig that's not his fault. That's something he helped went wrong, because he teaches him that it's okay to mess up, because you can always try again. Oh my god, Craig gets better and better every time you look into it. Like, the messages, oh my god. Like, yeah, sure, there's some bad episodes here and there, but the ones that really do shine are really good. No. Where am I? Okay, yeah. Then Craig suggests that they use the toy he brought, Frankie the Flexing Flamingo, to help secure the water hose. Earl then asks Craig if he really wants to give up Frankie for this, but Craig persists. They tie Frankie up in the hose pipe knot, and Frankie holds the water in place. Obviously, Craig is very happy that this worked, and this would be the moment that changes his entire future for the better. He helped, like, his grandfather build the irrigation system, and now he's become such a good builder in the future. But the episode's not over yet. Later, Craig's parents return from the hospital with Jessica in arms, and Craig gets to hold her. Earl then proves again why he's the best adult character in the show, and tells Craig that he will need help from Bernard, but also that Craig will always be there for Jessica, just like how he was there for his grandfather to build, like, the irrigation system. I know I just explained the entire episodes by telling you all about the flashbacks, but that's what makes this episode so endearing to me. Aside from all the amazing flashbacks, I like how this is an Ice Pop Trio episode, because Craig, Sparkle Cadet, and Cannibal are all present together. Even though most of the episode is just flashbacks, like this Breath of the Wild, the trio are still very good together in the moments that they do appear in the episode. I also like how during all of the flashbacks, Craig is building something for his sister's birthday, which just so happens to be also the anniversary of when Craig found his passion for building things. This again shows that Craig is giving to Jessica the same way his grandfather gave to him: love and support, and like a new invention or whatever. This episode is so good, I just can't even. Since I just talked about literally the entire episode, it should be clear now why this episode is so endearing, and there are no bad qualities to this episode. It's definitely on par with Snow Day and maybe some other ones, because while that episode was chill and magical, this episode was just really wholesome and endearing. Definitely a top 5 favorite for me. Anyway, that's all for this episode of Creek Dynamacy. Be sure to like and subscribe, and check out my straw poll, as well as check out my Demon Art and my Twitter. The links are in the description. I also want you to share it with your friends, and by doing all these few things, are helping me a lot to reach 1,000 subscribers. Subscribers. I can't talk. I keep slurring words. Okay, I will see you guys next time.